Hello.
Hey there, everybody. How you doing today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
All right. Enjoying this lovely weather we're having?
Yeah, it's very calming.
You know it is. Sometimes rainy days are good. Gives you reason to sit in the house and not have to do anything. Well, except your schoolwork. All right. Well, we'll give it a minute. I have a brief little lesson to go over today, and then I'll cut you all loose. Is everybody working on their spooky project theme for this week that's due on Friday, I hope?
Yes, sir.
All right. I love the sound of that.
I believe I just turned it in.
All right, sweet. I mean, I've been practicing. I've been watching a ton of scary movies this week. I watched The Conjuring last night, and then I couldn't sleep because I thought some ghost lady was going to eat me. And then I watched, what else did I watch? Some spooky show. Oh, anybody see that awful Hubie Halloween on Netflix yet? Good. I will take that as a no. Do not watch that movie. It was terrible. Adam Sandler.
I do want to see it.
You know what? If you like his movies, they're all pretty much the same with the same cast. So I think you'll like it. Not too bad. What about anybody else on here right now? Deshauna, Emmanuel, Jamil, Javon, or Steve? What are your favorite Halloween movies?
I like Medea Boo. The first
I
and
like-
the second one.
I was going to say I like Boo and Boo 2, but Boo number 1 was funny when they were, the granddaughter was trying to go to the fraternity house party. I didn't know what to think, and I laughed my butt off in that movie. Who else?
It depends what.
I don't really have one. I usually just watch like.
What's that, Jamil?
I said I usually just watch like Friday, like with my mom, like back then. I don't really have a Halloween movie.
Oh, okay. Well, it's always a time to get started. There's plenty of stuff out there right now, especially with all the channels and streaming networks and all that craziness. I said this the other day, I love watching all the Simpson Halloween specials because there's like 30 of them.
Straight out the horror.
I watched a bunch of them last night. I can't even say which one's my favorite because there's so many of them. But all right, let's see here. So I'll tell you what, we get started. It's 5 after 6. And I want to, I'll share my screen with you in a minute. But so one of the things that I've been working on for everyone is I actually went ahead and redid our orientation from the beginning of the year because it seems that some of the students and even some of the parents have questions. So I went ahead and made this ridiculously long presentation with slides and video that will hopefully help you, the student, and as well as the parents, kind of understand, how we do what we do, how we're broken into levels, what software we use, how it all ties together. So keep an eye out for that. I plan on sending that out by tomorrow morning. Now, I'm hoping tomorrow, and I'll send out a request today. I'm hoping to try and get as many students as humanly possible on tomorrow. I don't know how well that's going to work out, but, I appreciate those of you that have been showing up, but there's still quite a few students that haven't. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get a nice turnout and be able to go over some things. So keep an eye out for that stuff too. And once again, do not forget to take your internet vocabulary quiz by the end of the week. If you have any questions about it, please let me know. You have 2 tries. So if you do it once and your grade, you're not happy with it, take it again. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. And this is going to kind of cover the exploratory assignments that we're working on, all of them in general. So I want to show you, these are some pictures. Some of them may look familiar. These are some pictures that I've taken over the last month or 2, but they're just good examples on how you can kind of correct your imagery. So a lot of people have been sending their exploratory projects, but one of the key things that you start to learn as working in photography or video or anything at all is how to correct your images. and it's a very easy thing to do, which can also get very complicated. I mean, you can sit there and change the background and put two heads on somebody or do restoration work or crazy filters and things like that. But to kind of keep in mind for what we're doing here, I want to show you some simple corrections that you can do that everybody can do on their phones, whether it's an Android or an iPhone, it doesn't really matter. But I'm using Adobe Photoshop, which is actually one of the programs that we're going to be learning in this program once we get the laptops distributed. So this is kind of a nice way to give you kind of a glimpse on what you'll be kind of expected to do and what you'll learn how to do. So you'll see here, I have a bunch of pictures, and I have them laid out in a program called Adobe Bridge. All Adobe Bridge is like my slide sorting software. So it lays all my pictures out so they're easy to look at. Hold on, let me make sure there's nobody else waiting out there. Okay. And let me make sure there's the chat. Okay. So going back to what I was talking about. So if you take a look here, here's my pictures. I'm all broken out. So some of the things that we want to start kind of thinking of is, especially with your camera phones when you take your photos, is what could you do, just looking at an image. So this one, I double clicked on it and now I have it in Photoshop. So I can look at this and say to myself, well, what's good about this image and what is not good about this image? Can anybody give me some pointers on what they think, some things I could focus on that we might want to look at and fix? Come on, somebody, anybody, help me here. What don't you like about this picture?
It looks kind of blurry at the bottom.
Yeah, it looks a little blurry at the bottom. It also looks a little dark too. So we can go into Photoshop as well as going in on your phone and correct that issue. So if I go into Photoshop, there's a variety of features that I can use to say lighten the image up a little bit, darken it a little bit. I can tweak it just here and there. You can also go in and sharpen your images a little bit. So these are all things that your phone can do just with the software that it comes with. But Adobe Photoshop really takes it to that next level. But you can add blue to the image or yellow to kind of see, I see a lot of blue in the image, but now you can kind of sit there and drag the colors around a little bit and it starts to get a little bit better and better. So you can kind of see now from where we started, we have this really nice thing called the history panel. So going from where we started to where we finished, it's a nice little difference there. And it's something that really only takes a minute to do, but it can make a really big deal and a big difference to your projects. I had a student that handed in his fall colors assignment and he wasn't thrilled with the grade that I gave him. I gave him a 90. He's like, well, why didn't I get 100? I said, well, your pictures were too dark. And he went back in and fixed them. And then I gave him full credit. But, those are some of the things that you can always go back in and do and make those corrections. Same thing here. You have this cool sunrise going on, but the color could be a little better probably. So I can go in and try and make those adjustments. Same thing with, fixing the automatic exposure on it. So you can really kind of go in and make your images, just that much more better, from darker to a little bit more on the brighter side to really help those images pop out a bit. Another important thing that you can actually do too, and this is something that can easily be overlooked, is cropping. And cropping is just a fancy term for shaving some stuff off the image. Now, I think I said I had taken this picture probably a week or two ago, and it was just a nice sunrise, starting with the fog and all, and it looked kind of cool. But you can kind of see here, these are called guidelines that I can drag down. So if you take a look, you can kind of see that my horizon is a little crooked. And that's an easy thing to fix where you can go in and use your tools on your phone and actually adjust that photo, just the way that you want it. Okay, so you can go in and fix this stuff, then your horizon looks pretty decent. You can also do where this tree looks like it's falling over because what they call the perspective is a little messed up. And you can go in and actually fix that too and stretch it out a bit. And, once again, be able to make some pretty big changes. And actually a lot of phones now have built in like a button that fixes a perspective. I'm doing this all manually in Photoshop, but as you can see, just doing a quick thing here, going in, brighten up some areas. I'll show you this real quick. So you can actually kind of go in and lighten some stuff up, but it's really starting to learn how to have an eye for photography, because once you start getting into this field, people are going to be like expecting your pictures to really pop and, come to that higher standard of work that people expect to see from this industry. So take a look here. You'll actually see this is the after, and then that's the before. So if you notice the difference, it's a pretty significant change to where we were. You can see the green in the grass is popping a little bit more. The perspective is fixed. And like I said, all this stuff can be fixed in your phone, and it's a relatively simple process to go in and do. So when you actually go and make, your images and your collages for the exploratory assignments, I would hope, and I will eventually start to kind of expect that you're going to be doing this type of corrections. Here's another one I took outside of my house the one day right after a rainstorm back in the summertime. And, it's just a rainbow. But, I would love to see that rainbow pop a little bit more. So, going in, trying to get those colors to change, bring them in, make them pop out a little bit, can really kind of go a long way. And also, you can use some tools to actually darken, to show emphasis on some of the stuff that you're working on. Now, this is a little bit exaggerated, but here we go. So you can actually go in and fix the parts that you want. So now you see, it makes a whole heck of, I'm kind of doing this a little bit extreme just so you can kind of understand the difference of what's going on here. But you can go in and say, start with something like that, and you can see now that's washed out. That's what we call washed. It's kind of flat. The color's not very appealing, and there's just a lot of things going on that could be improved, and then ending with something like that. Now, I'm not a huge fan that my truck is in there, and you can go in and, like I said, let's crop. So I can go up here and make this a different image. And now look at the difference. This looks like it could be in any field right now. So I don't have to be concerned with how the grass looks or my truck looks or if anything's wrong. But as you can see, this picture is more about that rainbow, and it looks pretty good. So now, once again, going back to where it was, you don't need to see the flag and the bag of rocks on the ground and all these other, in my truck. And so to go in and just make those decisions where sometimes you'll look at pictures and say, I don't really like how this picture came out because this is in the way or something's there. But going in and cropping it, it's a pretty simple thing to be able to go in and do. Same thing here. You have all these nice rocks and stuff, but here's something where you start to learn Photoshop and you're like, I love this picture, but this kid bending over and showing his butt, isn't really helping my photo that I took. Maybe I wasn't really paying attention to the student to the kid that was in the field, and I took this great picture and it's 3 hours away. I don't feel like driving back. So you can actually go in and use tools that Photoshop offers, like the clone tool, so you can actually sample from other areas and take them out, for example. So, it's fairly simple to go in and make these corrections. See what I mean? Whoop. So now I have this nice picture of just the rocks. See what I mean? So now this is something I can hang on my wall without those mystery kids in there showing up in the photo. Okay. So like I said, this is all stuff that you're going to come to kind of understand and figure out as time goes on, you know, how to look at pictures. Now, for example, you can cheat a little and say, I really love these clouds. I wish there was more over here. You can use that same clone tool and add to it. But these are going to be the tutorials I'm going to show you once we start learning the software, where you can go in, like here's another example. Here's these clouds. So I can go here. And now I just added a cloud there. So look at the difference between, you know, once again, where we started and where we finished. It just fills it out. Now you kind of understand, like, oh, there was an empty spot there. It would look better adding a little bit more. Is it cheating? No, it's, you know, something that you're trained to be able to do to make your images look better. Because I'm sure you're all kind of thinking right now, oh, I remember this one picture I took. I could totally fix that. I could do this. I could do that, and just make it a better image. Same thing here. My Halloween picture of the stuff that I took outside. You know, what could you do here? Well, I don't really care much about the garage door and the lights and everything. So could I go in and do, you know, something pretty cool in terms of cropping it, where I want to get rid of all that stuff in the background. See what I mean? And then going in and fixing, you know, the background. Now, I still have this garage door back there, but could I go in and maybe darken it so you really don't see it as much? You know, kind of, let's try and downplay it a little bit so you really don't even care much about seeing it. So, you know, now take a final look at this one. So you have this cool, fun little image that you could, you know, make a poster or a card, or, you know, happy Halloween. So now you can actually put type over here, for example, and put happy Halloween. Well, now go back to the beginning and see where we're at. So, you know, as time goes on throughout the program, I definitely want to encourage you to look at your images, see what's on your phones, and think about what you're going to take before you take it. Because I know most of us, what do? We pull our phone out, we run up and we take a photo, but, you know, how often do we compose that image? How often do we say, oh, you know, Steven's sitting there in his chair and there's a lamp behind his head or a light switch, and, you know, it would look better if I took that without him. Now I did, and now what am I going to do? So it's all about kind of assessing the situation before you actually go and take the photo. And that's like anything, a video. When you go to design something, what are the elements, and what are you going to do to try and get the best result possible? And as we progress through this program, we're going to kind of teach you how to look at things, how to analyze things. You can even do the same thing with the lyrics and writing. You know, what are some good pieces of grammar and bad pieces of grammar that you want to use? Are you great with English composition and you want to write rhymes, but you're not doing them in the proper way? Well, these are things that we kind of focus on and guide you through the program to get better at. So, you know, please think about that, because the exploratory projects are something, they're easy, they're fun. Hopefully they're creative for you to do. And once again, you can do them at home. You can, and do them in your spare time. You can even do them when you're out and about. But taking tools like this and cropping and turning your camera a different way and using filters and using the correction tools in your phone will take you from that, you know, from a basic any other person taking pictures to a student who's now in art and learning how to use the knowledge that we're giving you to come up with better pictures. So, but that's really all I had for today. You can start messing around today with your phones. You know, Android phone or iPhone. I actually have a good friend of mine who I am actually building his website for him and doing his social media. He's an electrician. I mean, he puts in ceiling fans and generators and things. And I ask him, like, please send me pictures of your work. And he kind of is, you know, obviously he's an electrician. Well, he's definitely not a good photographer, and he'll probably be the first person to tell you that. But I want to show you, some things that I try to impress upon him when he's doing this work, to look for things a certain way. And then I'll bring this up for you real quick. So these are just kind of the pictures that I've been doing for him. But let me show you some of the befores and some of the afters. Like, here's a photo he took before and after. This is the lighting before, but look at it. The color's off. The angles are wrong. It just doesn't do a nice job showing, the work that he did. So now going in and straightening it up and correcting the color and cropping it to get rid of more of that ceiling. Look, yeah, way more ceiling going here. So making these corrections, it's a big deal, especially when you're trying to promote your product. Here's another easy correction, but I joke that to students that I kind of ruin things for them, because now when they start looking at ads and pictures and things online, they'll pick up on the fact, that this isn't a very well taken picture. It's crooked, but just going in and making these corrections, that's a pretty big difference, especially when you're trying to promote your business to clients. And just like all of you are going to do someday, you're going to be expected to kind of promote your brand to people. So you want to be able to take that opportunity. They say you only have one opportunity to make a good first impression, and getting in there and taking these photos the right way is definitely going to benefit you in the long run. Here's two more and I'll be done. But it's funny, he would take pictures of the work that he did and he would forget to turn the lights on. It's like, well, aren't you an electrician? So you want to be able, excuse me, to go in and show the difference with the lights on, the lights off, brightened up a little bit, and everything straightened out. Okay. So that's what I have for today. Just try to think about things a little bit more creatively now when you go and I give you these assignments and these projects, and just mess around in your phones a little bit here and there, and we'll be able to start getting nicer projects out there and really increase the quality of your portfolio. Okay. So that's what I have. Does anybody have questions or comments or anything? Or
Did you find out any more information about when you're giving out the MacBooks?
so they're actually programmed there. Thank goodness they are in the building and they are programming them right now. And we just need to pick a day with decent weather to be able to distribute them. So I'm hoping to find out that answer soon. Probably not maybe starting next week, because Monday's Monday, but Tuesday is election day. We're closed. So if anything, we're even going to start to begin, it will probably be Wednesday. But here's what I'm going to do. Next Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, I'm going to be doing live sessions like this one now to cover all of the basics about the MacBooks and how to use the software. And like I said, everybody's going to have to take an assessment or a quiz if they hope to want to get one of these laptops. I at least need people to show me that there is an interest and a commitment to want to learn this stuff. So the least you can do is watch some videos and, take a quiz to be able to get one of those computers. So hopefully after the election day, not hopefully, after the election day, we're going to start figuring out distribution and getting them to you. Okay.
Okay. Thank
I
you.
got to play with one, so they are real and they do exist and they're pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. You're gonna get a little case with them, screen protector, or I'm sorry, a hard shell case behind it.
Charger.
Yeah. And then a little adapter that takes memory cards and USB ports and monitor adapters. And so we're trying, that was something we also had forgotten about. It's like, oh, we need these. I'll show you the one I have. I have this adapter here that takes USB, HDMI, headphone jacks, SD cards, because MacBooks don't come with any ports on the sides other than that one. So wait, that one, which is USB-C it's called. So we had to go out and buy these adapters here, so you'll be able to actually hook your stuff. Like if you have a monitor at home, a keyboard at home, you'll be able to go in and be able to use that stuff. Okay. So yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty exciting. And once we do, we're going to start doing Photoshop projects. we're going to start doing, provide you with video clips and sound clips for you to start learning how to edit, and then you'll be able to take your own and then, put all those things together, and we'll go from there. So it looks like things are really starting to kind of get exciting in terms of being able to come up with more fun and exciting projects for y'all. Okay?
All right, thank you.
Do we need our parents to sign anything for the MacBooks?
What's that, Emmanuel?
Do we need our parents to sign anything?
Yes, and that's the other thing. We're coming up with the paperwork now. It's really kind of that commitment that you're going to be responsible. You're going to take care of the computer, and we have all of your contact information, so we can give them out, because those laptops are they're $1,800 a piece. It's not cheap. So that's the only thing that's really been holding us up, is trying to figure out the process on getting them out there, the paperwork. We've never done anything like this at our school. I have to say I'm excited, and it's been a long time coming. But going forward, next year we will already have them, so we don't have to go through the wait and getting things up and running and stuff like that. So, but yes, we're going to have documentation for you to fill out. Anybody else? Jamil, you good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. McCarthy.
Yes.
So for the exploratory assignments,
Yep.
and the playlists that go with them.
Just the one. Just exploratory project number 1 was the only one that came with a playlist.
Okay.
Did you actually go to the exploratory page on our website?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, like I said, I like to use Schoology to kind of distribute the assignment, and then it takes you to our class site that gets a little bit more in detail. As long as you follow those instructions to the letter, you're not going to have any problems.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
And don't forget, if you need anything, you can always pop in during office hours. Okay, bud?
Okay. And I was wondering if I could retake the vocabulary quiz.
Did you take it once?
I think I took it twice.
Well, I'll tell you what. I will. Let me see here. Take a look.
I know you took it twice already.
I will do 3 tries on it, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so give me about 15 minutes to make those changes, okay, bud?
Okay.
But like I said, take your time. Go to that, the lectures that I set up on that page. There's a video, the words, and then even the presentation that I did. But just take your time and go through those as you're taking the quiz.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you got it. Well, thanks, everybody. I appreciate it, and have a great day.
All right, thank you.
Bye. You too.
Thanks.